Yeah, okay. Dad had Dayton and Aurora, who are both adults, and Brianna, who is almost an adult, in the house that he mostly stays at. And
We noticed that. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
and Garrison, but Dad telling Janelle to kick her sons out of her house because, yeah, Dad's their father and Dad's there and Dad's trying to help sometimes, but there was always a distinction, and he calls them Janelle's kids and he calls Mom's kids Christine's kids. So he sees it in the same way.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. It's Thursday, March 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I can't tell you, it's like 5 o'clock. I have been, you know how you just get stuck in a rabbit hole and you've been just like, you're digging into the rabbit hole and you just keep searching and searching and searching and you're just like, oh my gosh, this rabbit hole is like endless. That has been my life for like the last 3 weeks and I am pretty exhausted, but we're uncovering so much new information about 7M and Robert Shin. So hopefully I'll have a new video coming out here soon and be able to give you some more details about what's really going on behind the scenes and why the story matters. I have some interesting news. I actually was listening to a podcast today. I do listen to podcasts sometimes. And there was a podcast called Surviving Sister Wives, which is on Apple iTunes. I think they're also probably on Spotify. I just listened to it on Apple because I'm an Apple girl. And Paedon Brown was on the show about a month ago or 10 days ago. A month ago. That's how long the last 10 days have felt, to be honest. Paedon did an interview and it was like 45 minutes. I actually really liked this podcast. If you're a Sister Wives fan, you might like this couple. And I say couple because it's a guy and a girl. I don't know that they're actually dating. It's just this couple of people. It's a guy and a girl. And they're actually pretty funny, and I kind of enjoyed it. They brought up a lot of things in there that I didn't even consider. So if you're looking for a little bit more of an unfiltered Sister Wives podcast, check out Surviving Sister Wives. But they had Paedon on their show and he was like no holds barred. Like before, when he was on with like Us Magazine and doing the other interviews, he was a little bit more tame. In this interview, it was very eye-opening about what is happening in this family. And I don't know, should I be shocked? Should I not be shocked? Should I be surprised? Should I not be surprised? I don't know. Maybe some of it is just like more confirmation that this entire family and this whole show is a farce. And that makes me sad, but I guess it's reality television. But something that he mentioned was that Robyn and Meri have no relationship with the kids, the older kids, Janelle and Christine's kids, outside of like family events like Christmas and filming.
The next closest parent, aside from Christine, obviously, being your mom, your next closest to Janelle. We then started thinking through different ways of how to ask this, but how does Meri or Robyn maintain a relationship with you outside of general family gatherings and holidays?
They don't, and I don't try to. It's something that goes both ways that doesn't go either way.
Fair enough, yeah. And I mean, that happens with a large family like that too, extended family. It happens, yeah.
When they're not filming and they're not getting together for holidays, they don't speak to Meri, and Meri doesn't speak to them, and Robyn doesn't speak to the kids, and the kids don't speak to Robyn. So they have zero relationship with Meri and Robyn. Zero relationship with Meri and Robyn. Maybe I'm not surprised. Maybe I am surprised. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised. I don't know. But I was like, you see the tension on the show, and you see that the kids are starting to make more and more comments about Robyn. And you see them make comments about the differences in the way that Robyn is treated and the way her kids are treated by comparison to the other wives' children. And Paedon brought this up when they asked about how the altercation or the issue that happened between Garrison and his dad, where Cody wanted Garrison to move out, and he didn't Garrison wasn't abiding by rules, and it was creating like this situation where Cody was trying to tell Janelle what to do. And Paedon made the comment about how he just didn't agree with how Garrison handled the situation. He felt like if Garrison was living under his mom's roof, even if he had his own responsibilities to take care of, he should still abide by the rules of the house to make sure that like he's being respectful. So he didn't like that, and he thinks that, you know, Garrison should have just moved out at that point. But he also said that it wasn't his dad's place to tell Janelle what to do with her kids. And he actually said her kids. And he said, I'm saying this because this is the distinction my dad makes when he speaks about Christine's kids and Janelle's kids. So he says Janelle's kids, Christine's kids. So it's like the kids have decided and determined that their dad's not their children. They don't feel like they're a priority to their dad. He also made the comment about how Cody's like never around. So why would someone respect him when he's literally like hardly ever there? When he does show up, it's not super helpful, and he sometimes helps out, but he's really just sort of like a deadbeat dad. And this is not uncommon in polygamy. I mean, if you watched Escaping Polygamy, you know that in some of these plural families, especially in the Kingstons, they stick the women in squalor houses, and they just don't even show up at the women's houses unless it's time to get the woman pregnant or give birth. But beyond that, there's like little to no relationship between the husband and the wife. That's really what's been happening here on Sister Wives, except they've been pretending that that's not how it is and trying to fool us into believing that it was something that it was not. And I was like, okay, like, you know, I feel like a lot of us knew this, but it's so frustrating to me that we are seeing over and over and over and over again how TLC is manipulating situations and completely removing the truth from what's happening in their lives. We can tell that there's tension in this family. We can tell that they don't get along, but to actually hear them say like Meri and Robyn have no relationship with us and we don't have a relationship with her is like jarring. And then to have him say my kid or Christine's kids and Janelle's kids, and hear how that almost hurts them, and they realize like how insignificant they feel to their father. And they pointed out that like they've heard Cody say our kids when he talks about Robyn, and that wasn't lost on Paedon either. So I was like, this is really sad. It's sad that in many ways Cody has been trying to portray himself as dad of the year, and he's just not. And he's more just like not a dad. He just was the donor of the eggs, or the, you know, the swimming guy. I don't want to say the word on YouTube. YouTube's weird about that. He just donated that. That was pretty much it. So on top of that, Paedon talked about how his mom said that he cannot talk about Meri.
All right. Unfortunately for Meri, it seems like there's not a lot going her way from any direction. At least that's what the show leads us to believe.
Reasons for everything.
What does that mean?
Oh, I'm not going to talk about that one.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That is one of the ones
Okay.
I'm not allowed to talk about.
Okay.
There's some things I choose not to say. There's some things my mom has told me not to say. And I, out of love and respect and fear, I don't say things she tells me not to.
All right. Fair enough. Christine is keeping you in line here then.
Yes, but it's not.
And I was thinking about how Meri has been going on and on and on publicly and throwing shade constantly at Christine, being so nasty, passive aggressive, petty, mean. And I started to realize that we're seeing Meri for who she is and probably who the family sees her as. And he said that his mother told him not to bring her up, not to talk about her. And they said that Meri, they asked why Meri has such like a tough relationship with the whole family. And he said that's because of Meri. So my thought process is, and I'm just thinking out loud, what if Meri, the stuff that we're seeing lately in her Instagram, is just like a toned down version of how she really is in real life? What if Meri is so unhappy in her living situation because of the way she's being treated by Cody and the way that this polygamous world works? What if Meri has become such a nasty person and so jealous and angry and bitter that it's just permeated her whole life? What if that is the real Meri? What if Meri could have been someone so much different if she wouldn't have stayed in the situation? What if Meri would have just like moved on and found happiness? It's sad that she has no relationship with the older kids. She doesn't talk to anyone in the family, and so her only outlet now is going live on her LuLaRoe stuff, selling clothes, and then doing her Friday night with friends and throwing shade at Christine. And I'm like, I don't get it. So Meri has no relationship with the kids. Robyn has no relationship with the kids, and Meri is not a very nice person. And I think we knew this because Meri and Maddie don't get along. Like, Maddie didn't even want Meri at her birth for both of her kids. And Maddie doesn't like Meri. And Cody even said to Meri that if she wanted to come back into the family, she would actually have to be nicer and repair the relationships with the older kids. Which makes me wonder, what did Meri do to the kids that they don't like her? What happened with these kids and Meri? Was there physical? Was it verbal? What was it? Sister wives are known to take out their anger on the other wives' children. So did Meri do that to the other wives' kids because she couldn't have more? I really wish that there's clearly something where Christine wants to not have the conflict, right? She probably knows that if he says anything, it's just going to fuel her anger more. So what are they hiding from us about Meri? And why hide it? So that they can make more shows? I feel sad because I'm sure Meri is a really nice person, but I think polygamy has ruined her. And that makes me sad. Like, no cult should ruin someone's like inner peace and their happiness. And if a cult is ruining all of your family relationships, wouldn't you just realize that, like, I can do better than this? It's so sad. And long story short, it sounds like Christine's Cooking with Christine is maybe going to become a show, and Christine might eventually leave Sister Wives. That's kind of how Paedon implied it at the end, that they're testing the show on TLC.com to see if there's an audience for it. They did this with a couple of the people from 90 Day Fiancé, and then they got their own show. So I think right now what they're trying to do with Christine is find if she has enough of an audience to watch for her own show. And so Paedon's like sort of hinted, like, if this is what you want to see more of, go watch my mom and go support her, wink wink, nudge nudge. I think that means Christine's going to be leaving Sister Wives soon, are you going to watch without Christine? I don't know that I could tolerate anyone on the show, because I don't like Robyn, I don't like Meri, and Janelle without Christine is just sad. And then not having Christine's kids on the show anymore, I don't know. I would definitely watch more of Christine, though. What are your thoughts? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.